Well, yes. So get excited, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. The next guest that's about to come on, he is a man of his word. Okay. You're going to totally enjoy today's show. So without further ado, we have Sherwin Riley, who is a certified financial education instructor, and he's the owner of LesWin Financial. Not only that, Sherwin's mission is to help create clear visions, right, towards your financial goals. Okay. Not just his, but yours as well. Okay. And Sherwin is married to the lovely Leslie Riley, who is a certified public accountant, and they have three wonderful boys. So it's all about money, money, money in this household. Finances, finances in this household. Okay, they're going to get you right, all right? You can trust them. Sherwin graduated from Troy University with a business degree and a master in public administration from DeVry University. Sherwin is an Air Force veteran. We ain't going to hold that against them, okay? Because y'all know me and Nadine, we're Navy, but that's okay. He's Air Force. All right. No. And he's a member of the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. Okay, that gave him some cool points. All right, so he's back. He's back. And he's part of several financial organizations and board. He also serves as a deacon at his church there in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So without further ado, get ready for Mr. Sherwin Riley.
Oh, hello. Good evening, ladies. How's it going?
Good evening. Good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Really good.
Awesome,
Really good.
Awesome. Well, first, I'd like to say thank you for having me tonight. Look forward to sharing any information that I can share and be of value to this particular platform in itself.
Fantastic. And we know you're going to do just that. We got tons of questions. We were talking backstage, and I was just telling the team, that Sherwin, he knows everything about everything. Sherwin actually started out, and I'm going to let him tell his story because I don't want to steal his shine, okay? But this is actually like his God-given purpose, and he's actually able to live it out in real time, every day, helping real people of various backgrounds, right? People from all over. And his ministry, because this is a ministry, right? Finances is a ministry, and everybody needs money. Okay. How can I make more money? How can I get more money? How can I have the multiple streams? Okay. Money, 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 money. Okay. So he's going to help you do that. But the great thing about Sherwin is that he uses the biblical principles, right? Because that's the blueprint, right? Those basic instructions before leaving earth. Well, God already put the plan in there. Okay. And so he builds from that, and he shares all of these principles with you to make your money grow. Look, I'm a part of his community. He sits down, he has the consultations, he does all this stuff, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that. But he is so transparent. And I've had financial advisors, people that I paid hundreds of dollars to, thousands even, and they really didn't take me behind the scenes. None of them, I tell you, zero, okay, goose eggs, showed me their actual bank account. This man, he did it. He put it up. Of course, he blackened out the bank account numbers, because we could have went shopping. That's in there, okay?
We could have taken a trip to Italy again.
Right. But he showed us. So it wasn't about him, somebody just talking, he shows you, and he also tells you, right, the secrets. He doesn't hoard any information, doesn't hoard anything. And that's what I love about him. And most of all, he's my cousin. You know what I'm saying? So it's in the blood, okay? But he is so amazing. And I love that, this is family supporting family and, putting each other out there, because he brings me on his platforms and so on and so forth and vice versa. So I'm going to shut my face. Okay. And we're going to let Sherwin do what he does. Yes, I'm going to hand it back to you because I know you always ask that one paramount question. So I'll let you kick us off.
Yes, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for being on as our guest. We are truly excited to have you on Hoy en Día TV. Yes. So I know that Cece did an amazing job just breaking down your bio and just beautifully illustrating it. But in a nutshell, who do you, Sherwin Riley, say that you are?
Well, most people call me the money guy, simply because I just feel like, if I go to my church, I'm going to church just to, get the word in each Sunday. But every Sunday there's someone pulling me to the side, or even if my job, I do work a 9-to-5 job as well. They know me as the money guy. So I guess if that's what they, call me, that would be one thing, the money guy in itself, simply because I got passionate about financial literacy well over probably about 15 years ago, and simply because I got into a really financial struggle like many people are facing today, where the payday loans just got me into a cycle for about a year and a half. And I told myself if I can ever get myself out of this situation, I would never put myself back in again. And so that's really what's kind of been my thrive as far as, being able to be so financial literate as far as getting my hands on as many books. Back then, it was like magazines. I had magazines like Black Enterprise, money magazines coming to the house. And my wife was like, it's driving her crazy. And I got like Wall Street journals coming, like the physical newspapers in itself. But that's all been a part of my story as far as grasping the financial knowledge, the history, and being able to pass it down to to the people I work with today.
That is impressive. Awesome. And I will say this, shout out to our alma mater. We have DeVry in common, Keller Graduate School.
There we go. Awesome.
Also, public administration degree and healthcare management. I have a dual master's. So, hey, shout out to public admin degree. Yes. I should share that real quick, But with that in mind, your background is very diverse. We have Air Force, serving to earning advanced degrees in business and public administration. So how have these experiences helped shape your approach with just financial coaching overall when you're interacting with different individuals?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest part is just being diverse. Being in Alpha Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, you got one culture, and then you got, going to school and you're going with educated people that's looking for higher learning in itself, and just regular day-to-day people at my church that's just, seeking the Lord and looking to be closer with the Lord. Those interventions of just being with the different classes and the different community people has just been able to help me just be able to help people. People come here to my particular business, whether they have no money or whether they have a lot of money. I mean, I'm kind of getting into a space where I'm working with college athletes, and they get these name, image, and likeness deals. And, now get 19-year-old and 20-year-old kids, and they're making $300,000, $360,000 just in 1 year. And it's like, what did they do with the money, right? And so for me, it's I may have someone that come to me and say, well, Sherwin, I'm in $23,000 in credit card debt. I don't know how I'm going to pay my bills next week. How can you help me? Those are but being in those environments and those groups, just really been able to help me have a heart just to help anyone. It doesn't matter status, but it's just a heart in itself just to help our culture.
That's impressive. Amazing. So before I ask my next follow-up question, I'm going to pivot over to Nadine or Cece, whichever one has a question. And so go ahead, and I'm going to step out real quick. Give me just a moment. I'll be right back.
Yes. Awesome. So yes, Mr. Sherwin, welcome again. Welcome. So my question for you is, right, you said from military to money management. How did your experience in the Air Force shape your approach to financial education and, helping others reach their goals?
Nadine, that's a very great question because I see that you were in the military as well, and Miss Ciandra can also relate to it. The biggest thing for me was just the benefits that came with the military. With the VA home loan in itself, being able to take advantage of that and buying a house for, literally nothing down. The only thing I paid was closing costs, and I think that maybe was $2,500. Think about anybody that's 24, 25 want to buy a house now. You got down payment, you got closing costs, but the military afforded, us the opportunity to have no down payment, get into a house as little as possible. And one of my biggest financial regrets, though, is selling the house. I had it, rented it out for about 6-7 years, and that was one of my biggest regrets, but made money off of it. And so the Air Force really helped me take advantage of the benefits that, they offered, and that VA home loan was part of that. And so, I'm just grateful for it. It helped me get into the real estate sector that I'm in now. My wife and I, we own homes and we rent it out to low income based families. So military helped me be very disciplined and gave me that real estate experience as well.
Okay, awesome. I have one more question. So many families struggle to create a clear vision for their financial future, right? So what are the first 3 steps you recommend for someone who feels overwhelmed by their finances?
Yeah, I think the main thing is like we're all sitting down right about now, and the most important piece is for us, we're sitting down. But if you look at the foundation of where your feet is at right about now, that's really the most core principle. And when it comes to the finances, for us, your core principle finances is your budget. You look at it on a monthly basis, what's income and what's outgoing. And we look at the budget as a limitation. We don't really want to put a budget in place because if you look at 60% of Americans today, they're spending more, they have more expenses than they have income coming in. So knowing your budget, first of all, would be the first core principle. Second one would be living below your means. I mean, we got people buying $50,000, $60,000 cars, and they don't even have $50,000, $60,000 in a retirement account. I mean, I'm working with people that's 60 years old and they got $24,000 in their retirement account. And I'm thinking to myself, well, what have you been doing all these years, right? I mean, we live above our means. Like, we want to actually look rich and actually be rich in itself. That's simply because that I don't mean to put this out, and I know it's ladies on here, but ladies rather have a Louis Vuitton bag with nothing in it versus a plastic bag with $5,000 in it, simply because it's a social symbol, right? We get so caught up and want to drive a Mercedes and spend $1,000, $1,200 a month on a Mercedes. Well, we can't even put that towards our 401k savings or, something for our kids' college funds, simply because we get caught up in the status symbol. We even do that even with our kids. Want to make sure that they're wearing the Jordans or the Polo, right? And we don't even have 529 or college payment plan set up, but we want to make sure that our kids are looking good. But at the end of the day, when they graduate high school, now they got to start out life in debt by going to FAFSA and get student loans, when some of that money that they could have been using could have been going towards a college savings plan, right? And so living below your means is the second aspect of it. And then the third most important piece is managing your debt, right? We get to the point where we're not managing our budget, then we get into credit card debt. And credit card debt, with the interest rates, you can't get ahead if you keep swiping the card. Sometimes we just got to be able to sit down and say, you know what, I can't afford it, and don't swipe the card and dig yourself into a bigger hole. So we look at as far as budgeting, and then we look at as far as living below your means and then managing your debt.
Awesome. Those are great answers.
Yeah.
I know that I'm glad I don't wear brands. I'm not a brand girl, so
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. That's good.
My wife is the same way. She's not big into name brand and getting nails done. That's probably one of the biggest assets, though, because she hates when I say this, but she's one of the smartest women that I ever met. But I mean, she is a coupon holic. I mean, she would be in church with them coupons, and I'd be like embarrassed. But when she come home with that receipt and say how much she saved, I'm like, all right, baby, you go.
teach me how to coupon, okay? Because I will not be ashamed about using some coupons. Trust me.
Now, Nadine, I will say this though: we will not go nowhere if it ain't on a coupon or we got a discount. We're not doing it. Yeah. So sometimes that could be a little frustrating, even if you want to go out on a date, right? I mean, she literally on her phone looking to see if there's a coupon at that particular restaurant, right? So that's what I've kind of like got accustomed to with because we just hit 15 years in marriage. But I thank God for her because she's in a situation where she don't have to live above her means of have a certain social status, to feel like she's have to make it in life in itself.
Right.
I love that. I love that. She's just a lovely person. And, a lot of people wouldn't be able to appreciate that. We heard earlier that Sherman say he was calming himself out of those payday loans. And we know for the military, some of those payday, those loan sharks, they're like forbidden. They're like bad, don't do it, right? Because they rip us off because they charge you like 350%, right, of interest on it. So you think that you're, paying it down and you just never get out of it. And it's really sad, that this is legal, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's a business, right? And if people don't know what they don't know, they get in, and good for the business because they're making money, but really the ethics and that kind of stuff with that is not good. So I love what you said about, we're gonna have to get Leslie on to just about this couponing and stuff and whatnot, right? Because she's super smart.
You guys should have double team, right? They should have double team.
Get Leslie in there. Come on.
Yeah, she is the queen of that. She will definitely teach you.
But here's the thing: I will clip coupons. I don't go on dates, and I will ask for military discount.
Absolutely. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Sharon, I wanted you to talk a little bit about investing, right? Because I know, like with the Black and brown people, right? Sometimes we're not afforded the same education, right? We kind of get behind the curve. Not that it's our choice, but that's just kind of how life has presented, right? To us here in the US, right? So talk a little bit about investing because, I am a follower of the community. We have our consultations, like everything. And so we're saving money here, my family, my children, everything, learning so much. I do a lot of research. I do a lot of reading. I was doing stuff and I was making money, but I was afraid. Like I still had a fear. It's just like with taxes, right? In the military, I went to the whole tax divider thing and I learned all the stuff, but I was still afraid to do it. But I just needed to know what they knew, right? It's like, let me just know what they know and just make sure. But I would never do my taxes. So, I would always pay somebody to do my taxes. But talk a little bit about investing, because a lot of people believe that they cannot invest. Like they don't have enough money to invest. Like you'll see an Apple stock or, any kind of stock that's out there. And they think, oh, it's thousands of dollars and I can't get any of this. Let the people know that they actually can. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing is we don't know what we don't know, so we don't do it. I remember when I first started investing, first stock that I bought was GE, and had to go and pay a commission just to buy the stock. And at the same time, had to buy for the whole share price in itself here. So the investing world has definitely changed. There's no commissions. Thankful to Robinhood for taking that away. But I mean, I just shared with somebody tonight, you can literally go and buy McDonald's stock for any dollar amount. If you're going to spend $30 on a family meal at McDonald's, you can literally go on to Fidelity and literally go and put $30 towards McDonald's stock. Or we're in Target and we're spending $200. I mean, literally, you can go on to Fidelity website and put $200 towards Target stock in itself here. The crazy thing about life when it comes to investing, especially what we've been seeing so far this year, is wealth is being built all around us. And we wonder and figure out why the wealth gap is being gets even wider, because you have one person that's actually putting their money to work, where you have another secondary person that's actually squandering all that money, and they're putting money towards liabilities. So I look at it like this right here. If we look at, so for instance, I'm going to use you ladies as an example here, right? I mean, y'all looking beautiful tonight. You got your hair looking good. So y'all got the makeup. You got the jewelry on. I mean, I'm sure the nails done, feet done. But at the end of the day, I always ask these young ladies, how much money are you spending to actually look good, right? And this money that you're spending to look good, is it giving you any money back by doing that? I just had a young lady the other day say she spent $347 a month just on her hair. And so I'm thinking to myself, well, do you have any money that you're putting towards assets or any investments for you that's going to bring money back to you? And she said, absolutely no. So we kind of get caught up between spending more on liabilities than we do assets. And so investing, wealth is being built all around us. CC is very familiar with a company by the name of NVIDIA. You could go and ask 8 to 10 people, right? About 8 to say 10 people. And you might have 4 people that know what a company by the name of NVIDIA is, right? It's driving the artificial intelligence, what we've been living in this current society. And NVIDIA stock has been up 100% every year dating back to 2020, with exception of 2022. I mean, in my financial community, there have been people that made thousands of dollars on NVIDIA stock. I'm talking thousands of dollars, 10,000s. I mean, some people made $100,000 just on NVIDIA, right? But see, wealth is being built all around us because we're so busy working for someone else and growing that particular company. When you look at your own personal self, you're your own brand, you're your own business. even in this platform right here, right? I mean, you're putting sweat equity into this here, right? And so you have to look at it and building your own brand, which is your own personal finances. And you have to look at it to say, well, what am I spending to actually give money back to me? And investing does that. And not necessarily just within the stock market, but you can also invest into crypto. You can also invest into real estate. So you could be diversified in your particular investments in itself. But we always like to teach people, right? There's more than life than just working and paying bills. We believe that's slavery. I want to say that again. There's more than life in just working and just paying bills, because that's slavery. You get into a cycle to where you always want money, but you spend more money, but you don't know how to manage your cash flow or have that money working for you. Or I even use this analogy. I mean, if you're on one income, it's almost like, you waiting at a bus stop, because now you got to wait until the next payday. Same way if you had a bus stop to pick you up to take you to the next bus stop. But if you drive in a car, you got multiple streams of income. I mean, you can go anywhere you want. And so these are the things that I teach as far as not just financially, but your mindset. Where are you, like your mindset? Is it good? And are you willing to be able to do more than what you're currently doing now? Because if you keep doing the same thing, you'll get the same results.
That's a good question. And that so many other questions triggered in my brain right now, but I'm going to ask you this in relation to what you just shared. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you. It is a mindset for sure. But what I've noticed, and I've shared this in past episodes as well, is our society is so brainwashed by TV, by the government, right? Especially those individuals that choose to rely on the government. That's their choice. I respect that. But if you are of a capable person that you can move, you can run and walk and talk and listen and what is the excuse for you to sit around and like Sharon was saying, not wanting to do better for you, for your family, and want to invest and get different income versus just laying back and chilling, collecting a paycheck from the government, mm-hmm. and living under your means. So what are your thoughts about those individuals, and what words of encouragement would you share to a person that might be feeling like, the government got me, I'm living off the government? What would you say to that person to motivate them to do something better?
Yeah, I'm one of the biggest beneficiaries of those particular individuals, unfortunately. But we do talk to them. The reason why I say Ben is because Section 8, some of our houses that we own, we do have tenants that's under Section 8. And we have some tenants that hadn't even worked in the last 2 years. And every single month, on the first of the month, like a guaranteed check, the government is never late. The government puts that money into that business real estate account every single month, while this particular person is not working and do not plan on working because they depend on the government to support them. And to be honest with you, Ms. Rodriguez, it's going to be hard to help those individuals because it's a generational curse at that particular mindset. The kids see the parents struggling, and struggling is all they know. It's almost like if you look at a baby elephant, right? When he has that rope on his leg, but as that baby elephant continues to get bigger, and now he's this big elephant, and he has this rope on his leg, he still feel like he can't go anywhere because of that mindset he had as a baby elephant. Whereas if he just used his own strength, he can get out of that rope. And so that's where we're at in a society with the mindset of individuals that's dependent on the government. They're going to continue to depend on the government as long as the government is going to support them. And then a lot of times when COVID happened, that's when a lot of people got into situations where, hey, this is real. Like, we have to depend on this stimulus check or we may lose a job. I need this unemployment money to be coming in because I don't have any savings. And so, unfortunately, it's just a generational curse. It's really hard to change that mindset.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you. And I see your point. I'm glad you shared that. So let me flip the coin now for a family or an individual who does want to work with you because they want to do better, right? They're tired of struggling. They're tired of living under their means. Can you break down for us the difference between what a short-term, mid-term, and long-term financial planning for that individual will look like, and how it is or would it be to work with you and your wife and your team?
Yeah. Short term, it will be immediately as far as what is your budget? That helps me understand, okay, where you're at financially from a short-term standpoint. Then a midterm standpoint is we put a financial plan in place, whether it's, they want a college plan, or whether it's a retirement plan, or whether it's a cash flow plan, or investment plans just for, buying a house. And so step two is we immediately go in and we put those plans in place. And then when they work with me, we get together on a monthly basis and we do check-ins to make sure that you're accountable based on the plans that we put into place. I have a platform that's on WhatsApp where I put out messages on a daily basis to help with the financial literacy. I mean, literally just yesterday, I put, what happens to your house or your mortgage in the event if you die. I mean, a lot of people don't necessarily know what happens with that, right? I mean, we got parents that own homes with kids, and in the event that they pass away, what happens to the house? I mean, we always teach that houses should be, owned by the trust. So from a long-term point, we look back at those financial plans and we look at the progress that's been made. And so when we look at the progress that's been made, then we look and say, okay, look, how can we go to the next step? Now that you've paid off $10,000 in credit card debt, we got $5,000 more. How can we take advantage of what you've done so far to get to the next level? And after we paid off this $15,000 in credit card debt and you were spending $1,000 a month aggressively trying to pay it down, now what do we do with $1,000? And so for me, I don't charge a lot of money because I know if I do charge a lot of money, I can't help the mass amount of people that's in my particular financial community. So what I charge on a monthly basis is what someone would go and spend at Kentucky Fried Chicken for a family meal. And I'm feeding people for a generation to where people feed themselves for that particular night. And so, so that's basically how with the 3 steps and then, working with me pretty much evolves.
Got it. Thank you so much. I'm going to pivot over to Nadine or Tsitsi if you all have any additional questions before I ask my other questions.
You're muted, Nadine.
Oh, I'm talking to myself again. So my other question is, right, it says, based on your faith and your finance, as a deacon and a community leader, how do you integrate your faith and values into the financial guidance that you provide?
Yeah. So, as through my financial learning, I just got so passionate and want to know everything about finances. I had to stop myself and realize that, I grew up, both of my parents are ministers, and we deter a little bit, and so I did that after high school. But you always go back to your faith. And so for me in this particular space, when I'm talking about wealth building, I really have to convict myself many times because, if I want to buy that next investment property or I want to catch that next, milestone, I one of the things is I became a millionaire at the age of 39. And it's like a lot of people my age is in my culture is won't never be a millionaire, right? And I don't really like to call myself a millionaire, but my thing in my financial space and education, that is one thing that I will say, because I can say that, before I became a millionaire, I was doing payday loans. And every time on a Friday, every time I got paid, I had to go down to the payday loan just to get another payday loan. So Nadine, to answer your question is this is a particular Bible verse that I use to keep me on a level playing field. And the verse is what profits a man to gain the whole wide world, but lose his soul. And so you can have all these possessions. You can have all your investment accounts could be $100,000. You can own all these investment properties, right? But if a man loses his soul and his purpose in life, then it really means nothing. I don't been to a spectrum to where I had nothing to a point where God to bless my pockets where I can bless others. But happiness is more than anything. And happiness is what I find is in my faith in God and the relationship. And then what happens with that is he opened up doors for me just to be able to walk into my plans and purpose and what this is in the financial education and helping people. Tim Tebow said this here, significance over success. Significance is basically is you're impacting others, and success would be your own personal success. And so for me, I took that, and I'm more of a significance, right? When I lay my head down at night, the most important and most fulfilling things is how did I help that family tonight, and then how will I help them for generations to come?
I love
Awesome.
it. I love it. He's just amazing. I tell you, he was amazing, right? So I just love it. And the fact that he's just so well rounded, it's just everything. When you really have, my foundational verse for my family, right, is the Matthew 6:33. And I know Sharon knows that very well. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness, right? And all these things will be added to you. And because our family is rooted and grounded in faith, right? His parents, ministers, all these things. And he's a twin, right? He's a twin. So, yeah, he is. He's a twin. And so, I believe truly like he did that and he pays it forward. And the fact that, a lot of people, I'll say, with one of my properties, I never even conceived or thought, like I'll say that I was discriminatory. I know you're like, CC, what are you talking? I was discriminatory to the people that I rented to. I was very particular, right? And so I only wanted to rent to military people where I knew I had a guaranteed income. And if they didn't pay me my money, I could go to the command because I know how it all works, right? And I'm gonna get my money. And just like Sherwin renting to the Section 8 people, some people don't want to do that. Not all of these people, right, that are, having a hard time and having to lean on the government for some assistance, to help dig themselves out of the hole. They're not all bad tenants. But the key thing and the game changer with Sherwin, like he's paying it forward with these people. They have access to his community as well, right? He has a beautiful property, right, for these people to live at, right? Safe communities, things of that nature. But the key thing is that with these people, right, it's a game changer. Like he said, he's going to be guaranteed that money with the government. You see what I'm saying? So it's a winner chicken dinner. So it's like you got to change the mindset, like he talks about that. The mindset strategist right here, always changing the mindset. Sherwin, I wanted to ask you, like, above all things, everything that you've experienced, everything that you've done, being, not having, you know what I'm saying, when you got out on your own and stuff like that, and trying to make ends meet and be that man and stand on your feet, because our parents will cut us off in a heartbeat. They'll be like, look, you gonna have to. You made that bed. I'm gonna need you to lay in it for a little bit. Okay. Now, you weren't supposed to go out. We know how they get down, right? But that's all good. So the one thing, right? If you had to give a piece of advice to anybody out here listening on the line, what would that one piece of advice be for a person to like basically get their butts in gear, right? And move past the fear? Because fear was the thing that paralyzed me, like paralyzed, like my mind. I couldn't make decisions. Something as basic as, which way do I go home today? What food do I order today? It was bad. And then it went to a total extreme of like, now I'm just being propelled into action. Like, I'm going to make this happen. But, I didn't have a healthy balance. So I experienced that. So what's that one piece of advice that you would give someone listening today, and even in the days and the weeks to come, to really kind of get them into action, to get them to begin to change their mindset so they don't have to live in the poverty that they're choosing, right? Because it is a choice. Everything is a choice in life that they're choosing to live in.
Absolutely. So, CC, I would say being at Troy University in Montgomery, right across the street, they had a Rosa Parks Museum. And this one particular quote right here, probably well over 17 years ago, still stick with me today, and I live by it. And it's the choices that you make in life will ultimately determine your destination. And so I tell people this here, right? Your current situation is the choices that you made 5 years ago, or the choices that you made 3 years ago, whether you're in a good situation, whether you're in a bad situation. But those choices that we make ultimately determine our destination. So you could be a crackhead, right? And that could be to the point to where 5 years from now, 3 years from now, you can be dead, or you can be in a situation where it's not going to be good for your health. Or if you decide to say that I'm going to quit swiping that credit card and I am going to get in control of my finances, and then, a year from now, 2 years from now, you don't necessarily have to be in that particular struggle. Or you may be in that marriage and say that those issues that I'm facing in my marriage, I'm going to start making different choices. And by making those different choices, it's going to determine whether your marriage continues to go healthy or if it not be so healthy per se, right? But the choices that you make in life will ultimately determine your destination.
I love it. And I have one more thing, and then yes, we'll pivot to you. So your kiddos, right? Because in this family, right, of these, I mean, they're masterminds, right? Money, money, money. Got the wife couponing, saving the money. Leslie's that Proverbs 31 woman, that virtuous. She's out working, she's making it happen, right? So all the coin that she's bringing, she's making sure we're going to keep it and make sure, because they just went on vacation, and he was sharing in the community, like it basically cost them almost nothing. Like I was like, man, can you vacation like that? Because I remember we went on a vacation right before I was not so financially sound, right? But we spent like 20K. Like it was just, I'm like, how did we spend 20K on like a couple of weeks? Like how did that even, I don't even know. I think we were just spending crazy. It was, I say never again will we do that. Never, ever, never. Right. And we haven't, but for your kiddos, right? Because I know there's so many tidbits and stuff, and you guys are really going to have to join the community, and we'll give you that information here at the end. But your children, they're little business people, right? They are business owners, right? And these kids aren't even teenagers. They're not teenagers yet. They're not, are they?
Well, my oldest will be turning 13 next week on the 19th.
So preteens, y'all, like, and they're business owners. Get that, okay? So kids are making money. Tell us about that. Yeah.
So the oldest kid had an idea for the summer while he was just home. Of course, he see dad as an entrepreneur, so his mom runs as well. But he saw it on TikTok. This idea to where the garbage cans and the recycle bins, where he can go in the neighborhoods and clean people recycle bins and garbage bins. Right? He had a little package put into place, $25 a month. Every week you'll go and clean those bins. And so, if you do 2 bins, it's $30 a month. So he got this entrepreneur aspect in his mindset from us in the self here. And so he started that, and they got the solution. And, the thing about it is being able to have them as young owners and be able to understand the dollar. Even with our real estate property, we take it to the point where we have to get to the point where you take advantage of tax deduction. So we make our sons our employees in our business. So we take some of the money that we get from the rents, and then now we pay our kids. All right. So IRS says that you have to make it reasonable. So we say, okay, look, they'll do 20 hours a month. They'll get $25 an hour. And so we pay them in that regard. So that goes from the business account over to their checking account. Now, do they see the money? Not necessarily, because we take the money and then now we put it into what we call a kids Roth IRA. So that money now goes to work for them. And I do give the kids some allowances, right? If they do stuff around the house, personal per se, right? But CC, I'm a big and firm believer, right? If we could start our kids off on second base versus home base, right? And then we can give our kids a starter kit when they turn 18 versus nothing. Man, I just think it could really just do and change our family lives and the legacy for generations. And I'm a big proponent of just not giving my kids money. You got to work for it. I mean, you got to understand a dollar, because nothing here, especially in our house, is free. And so you're going to work for it. And so they'll ask for money, and they got thousands of dollars in investments. And so we just appreciate it, but we believe in ownership.
Do they try to give your wife coupons, like make some little coupons and be like, Mom, can I get
well, yeah, no, they know Mom. They know not to ask Mom for stuff, because more than likely Mom gonna say no, and more than likely Dad gonna say yeah. So they don't really ask Mom. Yeah, Mom is cheap.
I love that. Yes. So keeping it along the family, how do you balance your professional responsibilities and your professional life from your personal life and family commitments, especially with your boys?
Man, that's a very great question. I'll be honest with you, Ms. Rodriguez. That's something that I really struggle with, because I do work a 9-to-5 job working for the Army. And then we run this business here, financial education business, where we got probably over 275 people. And I literally, get home from work and I'll get on some one-on-one calls, and I'm making sure I'm putting notes out on the social media pages specifically for the clients. And at the same time, I'm managing the real estate properties. There's no property management. While at the same time, I am serving at my church and My profile says deacon. I got promoted even in the ministry. I'm a trustee now. So, and I go to a mega church here in Fort Lauderdale. So every week I'm signing checks out the church or before checks, thousands of checks. And so, be honest with you, how do I manage it? It's all God, because I don't even understand how I manage it. And while at the same time, the one thing that I did not even mention is, my marriage, right? Still being married, even in the amongst of all these things I've listed here. So, yeah, it's all God. But I'm just grateful. Someone said this the other day as far as your gifting, right? I look at you, Miss Rodriguez, and this particular platform, and the other two ladies here, right? Your gifting is something that's easy for you, but it's not as easy for someone else. And so for me, I just realized being able to manage multiple things have been a gift that God has gifted me with. And I believe the same thing for this particular platform and you ladies as well. You all diverse. I've kind of heard your backgrounds. And so God is gifting you. And so, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yes. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. So, what are three simple financial habits that anyone can start implementing today?
The first habit is just be consistent, right? Be consistent in buying assets. If you look at your last 10 transactions in your bank account, you want to say were any of those last 10 transactions any assets? And 9 times out of 10, it's not. So you want to be consistently buying assets in itself. The second thing that you want to also be able to do is put some money aside for savings. At least get 3 to 6 months worth of savings, because it's not a matter if, it's just a matter when that financial storm is going to come through. And so we got to be able to have our savings to save us in the event when things do come back around. And the third piece is this right here, right? Is legacy. Being able to protect your assets in itself here, right? Making sure you have life insurance, making sure that you have a power of attorney and a healthcare surrogate and a trust in place, good estate planning. Fortunately, just last week, I was speaking with a young lady just last Tuesday and helping her with her finances and her son that plays college football as well. And the following day, I got a phone call that she passed away. Life is very short. And we never know when our last day is going to be here. And she was a very young lady, and she was a mid-40s, and spoke to her husband last week as well. And so the family is definitely mourning at the moment. But the one thing that she did not have was life insurance. And so not having that in place puts burden on family while at the same time while you're mourning. Thank God she got some family members have some resources, in particular her son that plays football at a college that I was talking about that, get paid a couple $100,000 per year, can kind of step in. But what if she didn't have that? And so for us, we got to be able to protect our legacy and have a good estate plan in place.
Thank you for sharing those tips. That's very, very important. And I know I already knew that our conversation was going to get juicy and deep, and I honestly feel like we're going to need a part 2 with you, because now it opened up a bunch of other questions, right, to ask. But due to timing, because I want to respect your time and everybody's time here, if you are open to it, we would love to have you for a part 2 later on in the year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I love speaking in these regards, and so different perspectives. So anytime you guys want to have me, I always appreciate CC for bringing it to different platforms. So thank you, ladies, for having me.
Yes, absolutely. But we're not going anywhere yet. We still have a little bit more time, because we're going to slowly pivot over into our last minute words. Before I do that, CC or Nadine, anything else you want to follow up with our guest today, or we can wait until our next segment with our guest?
No, I don't have any more questions, but I'll definitely have a conversation with you. I need to be a millionaire too.
Okay? Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you. It sounds sexy. It is good. But at the end of the day, a millionaire to me these days is not the same like it was 10 years ago. I mean, you could say you live in I grew up on an aspect of, man, that's $1 million home. With inflation these days, I mean, here in South Florida, You can look at a house and be like, that house worth $1 million. So
Right.
yeah. But I understand what you mean. It's that signature milestone. But here's the approach, though, right? Not necessarily just being a millionaire, but if you do get to that particular step, right? How do you keep moving the needle forward? Then next thing you become multiple or a multi, right?
Yes.
That's the thing. Or maybe you be a thousandaire and then now you be a multi-thousandaire. It's just keep moving that needle forward.
That's it. That's it. I love it. I love it. I am so happy that, you grace us with your presence, that you share, just this little snippet of, information, education. The stuff that you share, I don't really see it as, I don't think I view it as information, but I just view it as knowledge. Yeah. I just view it as, because God's word, right? The Bible, that's not information. That's revelation, right? Yeah. That's stuff that's with you. And because this is your purpose, this is your passion, this is the call that God has put on in your life. I see it like, I just got this vision. Okay. I just got this vision, right? It just happens like that sometimes. Thank you, Holy Spirit. But like Egypt in the Exodus with Pharaoh. And you're like, let my people go. Like, get out of this bondage of being in debt. You know what I'm saying? So you're trying to pull people out. We want the Lord to part the Red Sea. You know what I'm saying? We want to have, coin in our accounts and have it grow. And not just for ourselves, but for our children, right? And for our children's children. We're to leave an inheritance, right? For the children's children. You see what I'm saying? So you got to have the multiple. You got to have the multiple. So I just want to say thank you for your time. I'm so proud of you, Sherwin, for just walking out your destiny and the faith in which you do it. We look at you and it seems effortless, but everything that you said that you got going on is a lot of hats that you're wearing, right? It's a lot of work, but people, everyone can see and they can hear, like, you can do it too. It's just a matter of having the mindset and the focus and the desire to move forward to make it happen. So I am godly proud of you. And I want the community out there, everybody that's going to be listening to the podcast here nationally, internationally, all the places, right, on all the different streaming devices, right, just to just move forward, do something. And you're going to be able to do that with LesWin Financial. And so, let's get into those last words, right? So we can put it out there because I'm excited.
Yeah, like
I'm a beneficiary.
Like Cece said, let my people go.
I love it.
I had to get that song out there. It was in my heart as soon as she said it out.
Nadine is being a funny chistosa right now. That's all right. We're going to pivot over to our last minute words. This is an opportunity for you to remind people how they can find you, follow you, website, phone number, contact, quotes, food for thought, anything that comes to your heart that God is going to download right now for you to share with audience and listeners. This is your opportunity to say that. And to get a glimpse of how that's going to work, we're going to have Nadine start us off. Our guest, Sharon Wiley, will go second. Dr. Cece will go third, and I'll close out the show with our sponsors and extra information.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to follow me, I'm on Instagram at LesWin _financial. Also, too, on Facebook, LesWin Financial, on Twitter, pretty much on all social media sites other than TikTok. I haven't quite got TikTok down yet. I probably need to use my 13-year-old son for that. But again, I can't put my hand in everything per se, right? But also, too, if you want to find more information about me, LesWinFinancial.com. It's my website. Look more on my bio and some things that what we do to help people one-on-one, and not necessarily just one-on-one, but organization or churches, or we also have a kids academy as well. So we teach financial literacy to kids, and that's the most important thing, because these kids go to school and get a formal education, but they don't get a financial education. And we know that financial education is really one of the most important principles that we need. We need to know about credit before we go and get the credit card and run it up when we 18 to 22 and then get in the struggle, think that we're going to get $100,000 job, and then that job is paying you $40,000 and you're already $80,000 in credit. I mean, $80,000 of student loan debt, and you got $20,000 in credit cards, and then now you can't pay your bills, and now you're stuck into the cycle. That's really what the government really wants you to do, because guess what? They're earning all this money off of you through interest. So financial literacy for youth and learning these early principles and what to do and not to do is very important. And, parents really can't teach it because they don't necessarily know it. So that's why the passion behind LesWin Financial Kids Academy was birthed as well. So yeah, it's all that information is all on our website, and so yeah, you can find me there. And so I'm just grateful for the opportunity that God has given me to walk in the plans and the purpose that He would have for me in this particular sector. And I'm most importantly grateful for my parents. I mean, they just hit 53 years of marriage and have just really been a great example for me. And so I'm not who I am if it wasn't for my parents. And so they might be watching. So mom and dad, if you are watching, I always like to give you guys your flowers. That's one thing with my twin brother and I, my wife do. We do give scholarships in honor of my parents. I believe in honoring my parents while they living. We give scholarships back to our hometown, to high school students. So, but yeah, that's it, guys. I appreciate it. Anybody that's watching, you can also contact me at 954-393-7337. That's my number. And if you want to schedule a consult, we do have that for 15 minutes. And again, we run low monthly subscriptions and helping people whatever financial plan that they have. And the key in our motto is helping people create financial legacies for generations.